Welcome back to Inside the Valley, episode 6.
6 sounds right.
6 sounds right. If it's not, I'm sorry. Episode 6 of Inside the Valley. Welcome back, Dustin Black, William Cockrell, here at you live, not live. But Dustin, how are we feeling after a pretty big win?
Yeah, I feel great. We may have broken the UNC football program. They're already looking for an exit strategy now. Clemson's so
Whoa.
bad. Clemson's so bad that losing 38-10 gets your coach fired now. I mean, that's
Not yet.
crazy.
Not yet. Bubba Cunningham came out and said, I don't know if there was a gun or what, but behind Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick said, I'm not leaving Chapel Hill.
Right.
I'm committed to being here. And Bubba Cunningham said, hey, we're committed to him too. This is normal conversations to have on October 8th, 2025. So he's safe, man. He's safe. Everybody needs to be reassured that your coach is not being fired in October.
Two really well thought out statements too. I mean, they took a lot of effort into those and made sure they worded everything correctly. I think it was a total of 36 words between both.
36 guys. Words, almost as many words as points we scored.
It's a good transition,
Dustin,
man.
Because we scored 38 points, our scoring average on the year can finally drink alcohol.
That's great news.
23 points a game now. So let's go back. Let's talk about this UNC game a little bit. Shout out to my boy Beans. I had to go to his wedding this weekend, so I was literally watching this game behind one of the other groomsmen's back at the rehearsal. He had a wedding on Sunday, so I was at the rehearsal watching it. I told his wife, I said, I will not watch this game during the rehearsal. I will not do that. And then I proceeded to pause it, walk up to my spot, put it behind the groomsman's back, and watch it. So sorry if you're listening to this, Victoria. Beautiful wedding, beautiful rehearsal. I promise I paid attention to that. But let's talk about what we talked about before the game. Going into the game, Clemson wins 38-10. Handled them pretty good. I mean, but outside of the first half, you start to slow down a little bit. Dabo takes his foot off the gas, or they change things up. I don't know what we want to equate it to, but I want to talk about a few things first. So last week we had Fax and Childress on. Great guest on the podcast. Great listen. Again, if you didn't listen last week, 105.5 The Roar or the Tiger Tailgate, listen to Faxon and Grayson, man. They're phenomenal. But Faxon had some keys to success for our offense and defense. And, man, he's pretty on the money. So he had 3 keys on offense, Dustin. He said success on scripted drive. Well, I say the first 2 drives were scripted because we scored in the first play. 2 touchdowns, 14 points on the scripted drive. I think we were successful. I gave him a check mark on that. Cade Klubnik, 2, gets in the rhythm. 22 for 24 sounds like a rhythm to me. Does that sound like a rhythm to you?
Pretty rhythmic.
Nah, I like that. Big word. Rhythmic. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that out there? We come at you with a thesaurus. That's a big word too. Thesaurus. Try to say that fast. Let me take a sip. It's bourbon night tonight, Dustin, by the way. I know I'm a little scatterbrained right now. I don't know if y'all know this about me. I just installed a dishwasher. And Clemson won. That calls for bourbon, does it not?
How long did that dishwasher install take you, Will?
Don't worry about that. The first time or the second time?
What happened after the first time?
So, all right. So, similar to Clemson season, we had a nice dishwasher, reliable dishwasher, returned with the house. So, one of the biggest retention rates with the dishwasher in the house, new build, new dishwasher. Did not go to the transfer portal for our dishwasher. And, man, 5 years in, it pooped out. Stopped draining. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I'm not going to drain into the pipe anymore. I'm just going to drain onto your floor. Try to clean it, try to fix it, try to do whatever I had to do, and it made it worse. So I go and I order a dishwasher. Dishwasher shows up. I go to install it. It's broken. So I go to the wedding. I come back. Wednesday, the dishwasher gets here. It took me about hour, maybe hour and a half to put it, to install it. I'd already done it once. If you put them 2 together, maybe it was 3 or 4 hours. But anyway, it's bourbon night when you do that.
I agree with that.
But the last key Faxon had on offense was run the ball in the second half. Be consistent, stick with what you're doing great in the second half. We didn't even run the ball until the second half. The offense went kaput. We weren't consistent. We didn't keep our foot on the pedal. I gave him an X on that. I wasn't pleased with what I saw in the second half. It looked a little clunky. We were trying to do too much, too gimmicky. Got Ian Scheffel in a freaking pop pass. Justin, you want to go over yours? Your keys to success on offense?
Yeah, well, the first thing I talked about was some misdirection in the run game, but I don't think I can really say that was a hit. I don't think that Clemson really tried to establish the run as much as I was hoping they would. It's one of those things that I obviously they passed for 399 yards in the game, so thrilled with that. You
I'm
got
not.
your
You should have
yard.
done 400.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got your yards one way or the other, but we're sitting there and it's 35-3 and you're throwing 4-yard hitch routes, like when we talk about getting our running backs reps and getting Gideon Davidson comfortable and getting David Ezamume comfortable, get them reps in moments like that,
Yep.
So we're throwing basic concepts on first down. We're running inside zone with Adam Randall on second down. And then, we're eventually punting the ball in the third quarter.
We only ran the ball 31 times as opposed to 39 times passing. So, I mean, it was kind of balanced in play calling.
Yeah. So, anyways, but then my second key was you need an explosive play early. And I don't think you can run an explosive play any earlier than the first play. 75 yards on the first play, double pass, just incredible. And I think the whole thing was that they just wanted the guys to have some fun. Up in UNC. I think they felt pretty comfortable that they were going to win the game. So why not throw a double pass first play of the game, get the energy going, get off to a fast start, energize the defense. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I love that. Now, obviously, if it doesn't work out, people are throwing things at their TV and thinking you come out of a bye and that's the first play, but it works out. You look like a genius, and it's one of those things that you needed to see. You needed to see explosive plays, and you come back the second drive. You throw a simple concept to Wesco, and he gains you about 50 yards or so on that play. And then Randall gets you to the last 25 on the following play. So pretty good first two drives, a couple explosives, and you couldn't really ask for anything better.
Yeah, I thought Adam Randall looked beautiful in the passing game, and I think Clemson just embodied ludicrous in this game. They told UNC, move, Bill, get out the way. So, I don't mind that we went back to the air raid because it worked, but I do mind because the biggest issue we've been having is establishing the run. If you're going to establish the run in a game, this is the time to do it.
Do you know the longest run on Saturday?
Was it 6 yards?
It was 10 yards by Gideon Davidson on 3rd and 30.
Oh, wow. That's
so that draw play that they ran when it was 3rd and 30 was the longest run of the day, 10 yards.
Boy. I'm just going to move on from that. I'm just going to act like I didn't just hear that. I'm going to act like I didn't hear that. We're going to go to what I said for the offense. I said win short yardage. I gave it a minus. We were 4 for 12 on third down. I know all those weren't short yardage, but 4 for 12 on third down is unexcusable. However, we were 3 for 4 on fourth down. Dabo dropped his nuts in Chapel Hill. And my favorite fourth down call was the first half when it was 3rd and I want to say 23, and TJ Moore makes that great catch. Great throw by Cade, by the way. Put it right in the spot where his guy can make the play. TJ Moore made the play. They hadn't been making those plays. Contested catches were something we highlighted a couple of weeks ago that we weren't making. Dustin, I saw a few contested catches being made. You think of Tristan Smith. You think of that TJ Moore catch. Just the two off the top of my head. So that pleased me a lot to see that. And then for Dabo to say, hey, keep your foot on the gas. Let's go. Let's go for it on fourth down, 4th and 4 at the mid-yard, at the 50-yard line. It might have even been in minus territory. So big time to see Dabo do that. And then I said take care of the football. We didn't do that. We fumbled. And we almost threw a pick. I think it should have been a pick. They overturned it. Or no, excuse me. Call stayed on the field. It should have been a pick.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they didn't overturn that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they didn't overturn the touchdown. Adam Randall stepping out of bounds. And then I couldn't believe they didn't overturn that. But hey, the refs got it right. What do we know, Dustin? What do we know? Now, had that been the other side, we'd be cussing out the refs right here on the keys. And then I'll flip right over to my defensive keys to success. I said win the turnover margin. Obviously, we didn't. We forced 0 turnovers. I was pretty disappointed in that. One of the plays that highlights to me in that UNC game is tips or picks. Dabo loves to say that, tips or picks. You think about the Jordan Ship catch on 3rd and long, I believe it was, and we tip the ball. No, we rock Max Johnson. The ball goes fluttering in the air. he catches it and gets a ton of yards back. So stuff like that needs to be turnovers. Of course, like that's ball luck. Turnover luck is a real thing. But at the end of the day, you've got to force some of those. Like we had a couple of opportunities that they just didn't take advantage of. So no turnover margin was one. It's starting to become a recurring theme with this team.
Yeah, Jeremiah. I was gonna say Jeremiah Alexander dropped a pick as well. Should have had one.
Yeah. And you go back to 2023, and had we won the turnover margin that year, I think that team's a hell of a lot better than 8-4. And then you go back to last year, and the reason we were winning some of the games we were winning that we probably shouldn't have was winning the turnover margin. So 2023 to 2024 were massive in turnover margin. I think we're trending back down towards 2023. We need to get that back up. Get after the quarterback. 6 hits, 1 sack, 8 passes that went less than 10 yards. I like that stat because you know what that tells me? That tells me that we know we have to get the ball out fast as hell. We can't wait. So if you're throwing passes less than 10 yards, we're good. That counts as a hurry to me. And then no penalties. They only had one. It was roughing the passer that I can remember. And I think that was a lame call anyway.
I agree. I hate that roughing the passer call with a passion. But anyways, I said you want to create havoc. 7 tackles for loss, 1 6 hurries. PFF havoc rate of 18%. Pretty good. Pretty good day for the defensive line. I thought Steph Green had another great day.
Yes, he did.
I thought TJ Parker had his best game of the year.
He looked amped. This is the first time I've seen him play with energy like that, Dustin.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the stat sheet, I don't think, but if you watch the game back, he definitely had a big day. Definitely caused a lot of problems for that offensive line. And then play with physicality. So 9 of the 18 rushing attempts were 2 yards or less. They went 2 for 11 on 3rd down and 0 for 1 on 4th down. You'll take that every day of the week. So
absolutely, the defense did exactly what it needed to do.
But I also had a little bit of a revelation, Will, that I think I'm a little bit too harsh on Tom Allen. I think I'm being a little.
I think we should talk about this. Was it happenstance or circumstance that the defense plays with this kind of fire when he comes out in the field? Was it by accident, or is it because the dude coaches his head off? He's right there next to the guys. Energy is contagious.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I watch a lot of the player availability media when they get interviewed, and Wade Wood has said, and I pretty close. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, no disrespect to Tom Allen's son, who's on the field for the rest of the other games. He said, but it's just different when the guy who designed the defense and who is in charge is staring you in the face and telling you what you need to do to fix it. So that tells me everything I need to know right there. Everything.
And I loved Brent Venables on the sideline because not only was he in your face on the sideline, he was in your face while you were on the field. That's why he had a get back coach. And brought the energy, and you cannot recreate artificially the energy that Tom Allen and the Brent Venables bring. You can't do it. I mean, go back to Wes Goodwin. That was probably everyone's biggest issue with him, is he was so lethargic all the time. Dude knows football, but there was no energy coming out of that man.
But Tom Allen, he's a psycho, man.
Yes, he is.
It's one of those things that you always come out and hear them talk about it at practice. But like for the fan base to actually see that, I think is big.
Where is he at practice? He's on the sideline at practice.
Right.
So that's what sideline.
That's what I think. I think the energy did. I think the UNC offense is terrible. So I'm not going to say they didn't play one of the worst offenses they played all season, probably the worst. But the energy was different. It didn't matter who was on the other side lining up. You could tell, like TJ Parker, for example, that we just gave. They just play with more juice.
And Dustin, I'll tell you this: I don't care who we line up against. When this defense lines up against a team they should take advantage of, they should take advantage of it.
Right.
When they play 100%. Against an offense that's difficult, they should still play with the same energy. The fact that I saw this defense come out amped and not let off the gas against a team that they should have beaten like this, gives me hope. These guys haven't quit. This is a game in which they could have said, all right, we can rest on our laurels, but they didn't. They stayed on it. The defense gave up 10 points, and honestly, that drive where they scored a touchdown, kind of a fluky drive. So I live with that. 10 points is not bad. I wish we would have shut them out. UNC, according to Skip Bayless, is a national championship contending team on the first drive of every single game. So what are we going to do about that? We held them to a field goal So we held a national championship team to a field goal in the first drive. And then we go over to Faxon's defensive keys. Don't let UNC establish the run. They ran the ball for 57 yards at 3.2 yards per carry. We talked about your stat earlier. 50% of their rushing attempts were 2 yards or less. That's phenomenal. Anticipate short yardage passes. Like I said earlier on mine, most of their passes came less than 10 yards. They were going to do that. So 214 yards, and they averaged 4.8 yards per pass. Dustin, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's
anything
gross.
under 6 is just absolutely like makes you want to vomit. Should.
Yeah, that's ACC Iowa for you right there. That's ACC Iowa offense.
Except they don't have Iowa's defense.
That not even close.
And then Faxon said no missed tackles. No missed tackles. Can't speak to that. I don't have a stat for that. I don't pay for PFF. So that's it. That was UNC in a nutshell. Besides Ludacris, we're undefeated when we play after a Ludacris concert. Do we ship Ludacris up to Chestnut Hill? Should we think about that? Dabo, I know you're listening. I know you're a big Inside the Valley guy. I really think you should have Ludacris on that team playing.
I don't know if they can swing it, man. You know, you're paying the players. You got revenue sharing. I don't know if there's any money they'll have to have Ludacris on the plane anymore.
We got scholarship spots. Somebody's gonna get kicked off the team. Hey, what's his face? Just quit. What's the corner that just quit?
Oh, Shelton Lewis.
Yeah, Shelton Lewis. We'll give him his NIL money. Boom.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Just cross out the EW on his jersey and put UDRA Ludacris right there. There you go.
Ludacris. Perfect. Luda. LEDA.
Yeah.
LEWDA. Come here for football takes and listen to us spell Luda with a W. And hear me talk about dishwashers. All right, but what have I not done yet, Dustin? I have not threatened to pee my pants. So we're doing well. We're 17 minutes and 31 seconds in, and I have not threatened to pee in my pants.
You threatened to take it up a notch, which was concerning. You know, I don't know what's going on there, but
I'm saving that.
Okay.
I'm saving that. Well, we still have pee in the pocket. Like pee is still in the pocket.
Okay.
But I might have to take it up a notch if it needs to be. I'm willing. I was a walk-on, Dustin. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You gotta learn that. Let's jump into Chestnut Hill before I put my foot in my mouth. 7:30 night game in Chestnut Hill. Last time we played Boston College at night, I think that was the Trevor Lawrence years. Very good game. Came down to the wire. Fun fact: it was my engagement party, and my buddy, who I just went to his wedding, was at the engagement party. And every single play we ran, he's a South Carolina fan, would tell my uncle that Alabama would have scored on that play. And let me tell you what, my uncle did not think that was funny. I thought it was hilarious. The game's on ESPN, I believe. Clemson's a 14.5-point favorite, similar to UNC. And the over-under is at 54.5. Opening thoughts. Dustin, where we at? How are we feeling for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel better after watching the UNC. Look, I get if you want to say UNC is the worst team Clemson's played. Probably they probably were. I think they're probably less talented than Troy, and definitely not as well coached as Troy was. But anyways, I have more confidence in the defense. I have a little bit more confidence in the offense, but not as much. I think some of the offense still concerns me. But I see a victory. I don't think that I'm too concerned about Clemson losing this game. I think if I was a betting man, I would take BC and the points. I think to keep it a little bit closer than 2 touchdowns.
To take it back to the UNC game one more time, one more thing I want to talk about too. How many times did Cade Klubnik throw that football?
A lot.
24.
24.
That's less than 25 times. He was 22 for 24 on the game, I believe.
Wow.
Let me double check that stat. 22 for 24. Clemson usually does very well when he throws the ball less than 30 times. Just want to put that out there. Put that in the ether. Okay, so opening thoughts. Clemson's more talented than the BC. Are they going to act like it? We've been more talented than every team we've played sans LSU, and you could even argue we're more talented than them too. Is this the game where we finally got over the hump against UNC? I believe so, but now you have to start stacking these things. And It's still a long season, Dustin, and believe it or not, we play in one of the wackiest conferences in the country. The ACC championship and the playoff are not off the table yet. You can go read Kelly Ford and all those things that statistically say we're probably going to go 6-6 or 7-5. I'm pumping the brakes on that. I'm hitting the gas on the Roy bus, baby. I'm hitting the gas. So, but what are we feeling over there, Dustin? You're in the Sunshine State. I know you're a Sunshine pumper.
You're talking about the ACC as a whole?
The ACC as a whole, Clemson's opportunity. What are we looking like going into BC? You said your confidence in the offense is kind of still stale. Defense is moving up. I think if the defense plays like we expected it to, we went out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the offense still has, a lot to improve on. But I don't think BC, especially if you look at the injury report, is going to field, too talented of a defense. So I don't mean it from that aspect. I think Clemson will be just fine on Saturday. I just think that there's a lot of games left, like even at SMU, who's not as good as they were last year. Florida State, we still have Duke. Duke is like one of the best teams in the country at tackles for loss and sacks. So there's just a lot of challenges ahead for this offense, with the defenses that they're going to have to play. So you want to build momentum, right? Like what we saw last year with the App State, following that up with the NC State performance and just kind of stacking the good performances.
Yeah.
Just some more consistency would just make me feel much better. You got your confidence back. Now just create consistency.
Yeah, and fun fact about SMU, last time I checked, they were dead last in passing yards allowed in college football. So that should be fun. Anyway, let's go to the tail of the tape. Let's talk some Boston College. They're 1-4. They lost in double overtime to Michigan State. Had all the momentum in the world, and Aiden Childs and Nick Marsh just took over the game in overtime. Lose to a terrible Stanford team. Lose to Cal, and then got mollywopped by Pitt. But they did beat Fordham. Okay, that's FCS Fordham. Their offense. Total offense is ranked 62nd. Rushing offense is ranked 129th. Scoring offense is ranked 55th. And passing offense is ranked 11th. 11th at 300 yards per game and 11 touchdowns.
What is up with these northeastern schools not wanting to run the football? I mean, what's going on?
Switching it up on us, yeah.
It doesn't even make any sense.
They're going soft. They're playing some flag football up there. And that was the biggest mind-blowing stat to me, because when I think of Boston College, I think of the damn hammer offense, run the ball with Andre Williams, who's 6'5", 346 pounds, over and over and over and over and over and over again. That is what I think of when I think of Boston College. I do not think of the 129th ranked rush offense and the 11th ranked pass offense. I don't think of Syracuse. This is Syracuse's offense all over again. That scares me a little bit.
No, it is. Like in terms of EPA, the expected points, when passing on offense, Boston College is 30th in the country. And when they run the football, they are 121st.
Good gracious.
So there is a large gap between how well they run the football and how well they pass the football. So
yeah, they are not balanced. Those scales are tipped a little bit. But let's go to the other side of the ball. They are very vulnerable on the other side of the ball. Again, we've talked about this off air. We've talked about this a little bit on this episode. They remind me a lot of Syracuse. Total defense is 70th in the country. Rush defense is 59th. Pass defense is 85th. Scoring defense is 117th. They've almost given up 20 touchdowns already. 19 touchdowns. So, and that's with Fordham on the schedule, and Stanford, who has not had an offense. So, and just to talk about how bad Stanford is, go back and watch the Hawaii game. I don't think Stanford threw for 100 yards. They could not throw the football. But anyway, this Boston College team is struggling, but they have former Alabama quarterback Dylan. How do you pronounce his last name? Lonergan. Okay, I was almost. Oh, there he goes. A little Irish name. So they have him. He is very talented. He's not afraid to sling the rock. And then, look, Bill O'Brien, one of the best quarterback coaches in college football and maybe in the NFL, just gets to coach him up. And that makes sense why the passing offense is 11th in the country. But gosh, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of meat on the bones for us to do a lot of things that we want to do. The thing I want to focus on too is Boston College is giving up almost 32 points per game. and I'm going to talk about this in our key stats. Maybe I'm going to talk about it now. When Clemson scores 30 points or more in the Cade Klubnik era, you know what the record is?
Oh, they're undefeated.
15-0.
Yep.
15-0. So if we do what Boston College is allowing people to do, we should win. I'd say we should win. We jump over to Clemson. So obviously Clemson's 2-3, not the start we thought we'd have coming into Boston College. Lost to LSU, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. Beat Troy and UNC. The thing I want to highlight, though, I'm going to tell you our ranks, which still don't look very good, but I see a lot of green next to our ranks. Dustin, we're 68th in total offense. That's 17 spots higher than we were last week. 29th in pass offense. That's 24 spots higher than last week. And I see a top 30 in there. I like to see that. Rushing offense, 115th, went down 4 spots. We didn't run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Scoring offense, like I said, they can drink 23.4 points per game, 17 spots from last week at 97th. So still one of the worst offenses in scoring in the country. Total defense, 58th, went up 15 spots. Rush defense, 31st. We're creeping up, Dustin. We're creeping up. If we can get that rush defense at 25 or better, I will feel very, very good about the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. Pass defense has been a huge, huge minus for us. 89th in the country, but 4 spots higher than it was last week. And scoring defense up 17 spots at 43rd, averaging 20 points per game. So we're finally averaging more points than we're giving up. I like that too. But Dustin, let's jump into these key stats. So key stats for the game. What do you want? What you got for us?
Well, I kind of got into like a little bit of a wormhole today, looking up, because you can tell that whenever
there's nothing better than a Dustin wormhole. I just want to say that Dustin's wormhole is probably the most intriguing wormhole on the planet. But let's proceed.
So basically, it's no secret that when this team gets off the fast starts, they win more games, right? But I was trying to find a way to correlate that. And when you look at first quarter statistics, in every loss since 2023, if you average out the points in the first quarter, they only scored 2.5 points in the first quarter on average in the losses. So less than a field goal, right? If you turn it over and look at the wins that Clemson's had since 2023, 11.1 points in the first quarter in the wins. And some of those, you have like some ridiculous scores. You have 28 points in the first quarter. You have some 21s in there. I think you have like only 4 or 5 games out of the 15 or 16 wins that you didn't score at all. But if you look at the losses, 6 of the 11 times you lost since 2023, 0 points in the first quarter.
Essentially, we have to score a touchdown in the first quarter, and we win.
Basically.
And you think about it, you average a touchdown a quarter, you are pretty close to that 30-point mark. That gives us an automatic victory.
Listen, I wish it was that easy.
It is that easy. Just do it. You just got to do it.
But and then if you want to relate that to Boston College on average has given up about a touchdown in the first quarter this whole year. They haven't held anyone scoreless.
This is lining up perfect with our key stats perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about, hey, we got to score a touchdown in the first quarter to win. What does Boston College do? They average giving up a touchdown in the first quarter. I told you just a second ago. When Clemson scores in the Cade Klubnik era, so since 2023, games that he started, when Clemson scores at least 30 points, they're 15-0. BC's allowing 32 points per game, 31.6 to be exact. So, and just to add a nugget, so we don't harp on the same things, this already too, Clemson is undefeated when Ludacris plays before the game. I hope that entire locker room is playing Blueberry Yum Yum, Get Out the Way, some Ludacris, some Luda throwbacks before this game. I want the music video of Ludacris when he's like miniature, but his arm is massive. I forget what song was that. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh man. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think that might be Move Out the Way, but this classic Ludacris. Need him on there. Let's jump over to our offensive keys to success. So, Dustin, last week on your keys to success, Clemson listened to you half the time. Let's improve that a little bit. Okay, let's get better than half the time. Let's get 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, I think that this is a game where you're going to have to win matchups on the outside. I think Wesco and TJ Moore need to have a big day, and I should include Tristan Smith on that. I think his role
Yes.
is only going to increase in this offense. Like he's only going to get more snaps, more targets as the season goes on. You can tell that he's building a lot of trust with the staff, and then he's building a lot of chemistry with Cade. But how much chemistry do you really need to throw to a guy that's 6'5" and can jump like that?
Not too much. Don't need much. Obviously, you don't need much. I mean, that was a beautiful catch he had.
Yep.
It was a 15-yard catch he had against UNC. Just throw the ball up, made the play.
Yep, and it would. And Will, I'm gonna go ahead and get on your soapbox that you've been on since the preseason. Can we please use the tight ends, man? Like, how good is Christian Beneker? How good is Christian Beneker?
He is my favorite player on that offense.
Yeah,
Bryant Wesco, Adam Randall. He is up there. He is up there as one of my. I've been banging the Christian. I have been beating the Christian Beneker drum since the preseason. Watching this dude prepare and play, and now listening to him talk. I mean, running wind sprints after scoring 2 touchdowns against UNC. Dustin,
this team needs more of that. They need more of it. But like he's just a different tight end than what we've had in the past.
Yes.
Like I think that he's closer to like a Davis Allen who's in the NFL now. But he's more athletic, more twitchy. He's more of a pass catcher. I think Davis Allen probably has him on the blocking side. Davis Allen was a really good run blocker during his time at Clemson. I think Christian Beneker is getting there.
He's a mixture of Davis Allen and Braden Galloway.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like I think he's probably the best tight end we've had since Leggett, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like complete player. Obviously Brennan Sewell was great as a pass catcher, but I hated him as a blocker. Yeah,
me too. I would even say that Benincourt is more polished as a tight end than Leggett was at this point in his career. And you think about it, Leggett came over as a wide receiver and played tight end for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
Benincourt's already been playing that. He looks phenomenal. The 2 touchdowns he had didn't even show off his hands. It showed off his athleticism.
Right.
And I think that's what people don't realize is he is one of the better athletes on the football field at all times. You go to the LSU game. He made one of the most physical plays in that game when he catches the ball and just rocks the defensive back and gets a couple more yards off the play. I don't even care if it's more tight ends. I need to see more of 87.
Yeah, I mean, and that if you really look at the game, that's really what you tested with UNC is you tested their ability to cover Randall out of the backfield, and you tested their ability to cover Christian Beneker. So I mean,
they played the game that we thought we were going to do against LSU. That was the game plan we wanted for LSU.
Right. So I mean, I just please use the tight ends. Beneker is a dude. We can tell he's a dude. He had his breakout game. Would love to see him catch the ball across the middle of the field some more. And I'm not excluding Olsen Pat Henry either. If you follow me for a while, I'm a big Olsen Pat Henry fan.
Me too.
I think he has a clear role in this offense. I think that he should probably outsnap Josh Sapp for sure. I think Beneker and Olsen Pat Henry should be the only tight ends we see the majority of the time. But those 2 guys, man, like get them going,
And don't get me wrong, I love Josh Sapp. Don't let me see him run a corner out, please. I want to see him punching people in the mouth. That's what I like watching him do. Right. That dude's physical. He can freaking block. To add to what you said earlier, your matchups on the outside, Wesco and TJ, really need them to win. Boston College has 10 defensive backs on the injury report. Now, I think 2 of them are listed as probable, but the majority of them are listed as out.
Mm-hmm.
Or doubtful. I don't know. Do they have any outs? I'm sorry.
Don't even get me started on this whole probable, questionable stuff. Like you're either questionable or you're out. Like I don't understand the doubtful and the probable. It's like there's either a question mark around you playing or you're out.
There's a lot of jokes I want to make right now, but I'm not going to. I'm not doing that, Dustin.
Okay.
But what I want to talk about offensively, this has been killing us this year. Drive killing penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically from the offensive line. The holdings, the illegal man downfield, the false start, the snap infractions, the personal fouls. Get them out of my freaking face. We can't have our most veteran unit on the freaking football field, both sides of the ball, be our biggest liability when it comes to discipline. So Blake Miller, Walker Parks, Ryan Lithicum, Elijah Thurman, RIP. Need you back. Need you back. Rest in the pharmacy. RIP. Rest in the pharmacy. Need you healed up. Colin Sadler. All you boys. Tristan Lee. I know you're big inside the valley guys. Listen here close. Figure it the out. I'm not going to say that word.
Well, I think the only drive in the first half that we didn't score against UNC was the one where we had 1st and 40 because of all the penalties.
Yeah, we had an illegal man downfield, and then I think we had a holding call.
Couple holdings, yep.
Holding calls kill drives. I think I want to say the stat I saw was 13% of the time teams score if they have a holding penalty on the drive. Now, the way I just worded that, absolutely terrible. But you get the gist. If you get a holding call on a drive, 90% of the times you're not scoring. Okay? That's bad. Not good. Figure it out. Figure it out. You're the most veteran team. You're the most veteran group on our football team and in the country. Figure it out. Second, be balanced. I want to see the running game freaking going. Compound interest. How many times do we have to say this, Dustin? How many times do we have to say this? When we get the running game going and we're balanced, this team will be phenomenal. We've got to see the running game going. We've got to see this offensive line get victories in the running game. And we can't see that if you throw the ball 40 times. Now, again, I know Cade only threw it 24, but he didn't play but the first half, and a little bit in the third quarter, which Chris Vizina, oh boy, I don't want to talk about that. Offensively, we just need to play discipline. We need to play discipline. We need to play a disciplined brand of football. Dustin, defensive keys to success.
Yeah, one word, 3 words, however many times you want to say it, turnovers. This group has got to start, turning those tips and the picks. They got to start making plays on the ball, start ripping the ball away. We need turnovers. I think that 5 total turnovers on the year, and I think 2 of them are turnover on downs. And I think the 3 where you actually had a takeaway were fumbles or interceptions were against Troy.
No, we had 2 against LSU.
2
turnovers. I think we had 2 picks against LSU.
We didn't pick the ball against LSU.
Ronan Hannafin had a pick, and then we had a fumble recovery.
Did we?
Yeah, going into the end of the first half, we had a fumble recovery.
That's right. No, you're right. You're right. Okay. But since then, nothing. I mean, you've played Georgia Tech, you've played Syracuse, you've played UNC. I mean, nothing. So it's a bad streak, and definitely want to keep that, get that going. Yeah, and then the old Dabo staple of his philosophy of football is just maintain field position. They did a great job against UNC with it. Kept them pinned in their own half. A lot of that was the defense forcing 4 3-and-outs in a row. That's definitely going to help you with field position. But I think that's huge, especially for a team that wants to throw the ball all over the yard. You're going to get gashed in between the 20s, but they're much less likely to want to toss the ball around inside their own 10-yard line. So you got to make them, a little bit more, predictable and make them turn around and hand the ball off.
It's funny you say that. Sometimes I'm like, man, was Dustin in the locker room with us? Dabo has a football field. I don't know if he still does. He did 10 years ago. Had a football field posted at the front of the team meeting room with every 10-yard mark. It was a football field. And every marker had the percentage of scoring opportunity where you'd start with the football. And we put the drive chart out from every game where we started the drive and if we scored. And so it was like, 5%, 10%. And, just talking about the field position, how important field position was within 10 yards. Starting the ball at the 30 as opposed to the 20 was like a 15 to 20% difference. It's insane.
Yeah.
So it's funny you say that. Again, we're repeating each other. Turnovers. We have got to give this offense as many opportunities as possible. Dustin, you put something out on Twitter, I believe, that talked about how many opportunities we had in the LSU and Troy game, I believe it was, or maybe it was Syracuse and Georgia Tech. Where
Syracuse and Georgia Tech.
We just did not execute. I think there was 9 opportunities, 9 drives in the last half, and scored 0 points. Was it, or was it 7 points?
7. The only touchdown was Bryant Wesco just taking it 70 yards.
Yeah.
himself.
So
yeah,
not good. Not good. We've got to get this offense in a rhythm. The best way to do that is to give them more and more and more and more opportunities. How do you do that? Defense freaking calls a turnover. And then second, learn from the Syracuse tape. We talked about it a little bit earlier. This team is very, very similar to Syracuse in how they play football. They're going to throw the ball 500 times a game. They're going to be successful in throwing the football. Don't die by paper cuts. Okay, that's how they're going to try to beat you. They're going to try to dink and dunk you and then throw one over the top. They're not going to run the football well. Don't get caught in the window candy. Don't get caught in the freaking play action. They're running the ball 3 yards a clip. Let them freaking run the ball. Don't bite on the play action. Run your assignments. Play disciplined football. A lot of the stuff we've talked about in our keys is just discipline, discipline, discipline. This team is one of the most veteran teams in the country, and they're playing undisciplined. That's fixable. Turn it around. Dustin, closing thoughts. What we think?
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate how I feel about the game, I think BC probably covers. I think it's probably about like we hit our averages. I think it's probably like 31-21 kind of football game. See, the interesting part is I think that you're going to see a lot of 3 linebacker sets from Clemson because BC runs a lot of 12-13 personnel, but they do that and they throw the ball. So you're going to be asking your linebackers to cover. Haven't seen Woodaz be good in coverage this year. Jeremiah Alexander, it's not his strength either. And obviously not Sammy Brown. So I think that it's going to put a lot of stress on those guys that aren't used to covering tight ends and stuff like that. But I think that they will do a good job of stuffing the run in that personnel. With Shelton Lewis gone, and I think Tinks played well at the nickel, but I think your best 11 probably is 3 linebackers on the field. I think Jeremiah has done a good job and definitely has a role in this defense that I think is only going to continue to grow as well.
Yeah, and that could play into our strength. Our strength is the front seven.
Correct. Yeah,
specifically the front 4. If they keep that momentum going, we keep rotating. Hey, it's going to be tough. You pass the ball too many times against this defensive line, they're going to get success. They're going.
But I do think that there is a game script out there where a defense does, come out of its funk with turnovers, maybe gets 2 or 3 in a game, and offense is rolling, and then you end up rolling BC just like Pitt did. I don't think that's out of the question. I'm just not expecting it.
That's where I'm going. I'm a little bit more optimistic in this game. I'm feeling very positive about playing BC. It's at night. Cade's playing with a little bit of piss to him. He's Batman now. Apparently, but I think with the TJ Moore, to go back to the very beginning of the podcast, we talked about TJ Moore, the pass going to him for the touchdown for the very first play of the game. That was very specific. That was very purposeful because we talked about TJ Moore's body language all year long. And first play of the game for that trick play to go to him and for him to score. Dustin, did he not play his best game of the year against UNC?
Yeah, he's created some consistent performances too. He played really well against Syracuse as well.
Right. So he's stacking wins. Bryant Wesco has been phenomenal. He's been Mr. Reliable. We're finding out that Tristan Smith is a dude. Antonio Williams is looking healthier and healthier. He had a really good burst. I saw you talking about his burst on Twitter. Antonio, that's one of his most underrated parts of his game. Tyler Brown coming in, he doesn't miss a beat. It's fun watching him play too. That 3 waves of terror is finally coming into play. Cole Turner, I didn't see Cole Turner on my football screen, on my TV screen this weekend, so that was good. Let's get away from the Ian Shefflin pop passes, please. Okay, if you're throwing the ball, throw a jump ball in the red zone.
Well, specifically with the Antonio Williams, that screen pass that they threw him, he looked really good. And I say that because he looked healthy, with this hamstring nagging him. He looks like he's 100%, at least close to it. And that was encouraging. So he's only going to continue to get better. And we all know that when he's good, Cade is good. So
9-3 loading.
You're ready to say it?
I'm ready to say it. 9-3 loading. There's a couple games that are going to be tough. 9-3, but you know how you go 9-3, Dustin? You go 1-0. Last week when we did this episode, I wrote down Dabo emotion release game for UNC. And then I put under that, to go 9-0, you must go 1-0. Well, now I got this. To go 8-0, you must go 1-0. We got to keep stacking them. Let's do it. Let's eat this freaking elephant. Guys, thank you for joining another episode of Inside the Valley. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Dustin, I think we should just go ahead and bite the bullet and make a Twitter for this page so people can follow our content there. This is only going to grow. We love doing this. We love talking. I love it. I don't want to speak for you, Dustin. Clemson football is the best. Whether they win, lose, whatever, I am addicted to Clemson football and Clemson sports in general. This has been so much fun doing this with you in particular, Dustin. And thank y'all for listening. Please, again, like, follow, subscribe. Go follow us at the Walk On Red Shirts. This is a Walk On Red Shirts flagship podcast. The more you follow them, the more you do for them, the more we can do for you. With that, let's go beat the hell out of BC.